Hello there, welcome to Fun Science with Auntie Fola, where we talk about science and scientific principles. My name is Samelibe Folakemi, and today we are talking about atomic structure. Have you ever heard of the word atom before? Have you heard of the word elements? Are you familiar with matter? Yes. So today we want to look at atomic structure. We want to look at how atoms are structured. What are those things that are embedded in atoms? So every object you find at all, they are all made up of atom. Yes, at the end of this lesson, you should be able to define atom, you should be able to explain what we mean by an atom, and you should be able to identify the similarities and the differences between protons, neutrons, and electrons. So let's go to class. Atoms are defined as the basic building blocks of matter. Atoms can be defined as the basic building block of matter. That is the fundamental unit of matter. So all matters are made up of atom, and atoms are the smallest unit of elements. You remember our elements, you can see the periodic table. Those elements are arranged in the periodic table. So the atoms are the smallest unit of the element, and that still remain the element properties. When you break down elements, you get atoms, and those atoms, they still remain the properties of those elements. You must retain the property of that element. So we can see the diagram of atom. Let's look at the structure of an atom. Atoms contain electrons, neutrons, and protons. Each element is defined by the number of protons in its nucleus. Atom has nucleus. As you can see the diagram here, this is the structure of sodium. This is the structure of sodium, and the symbol is Na. So within this orbit, we have the nucleus, and the nucleus contains the neutron and the proton. The nucleus of an element contains the neutron and the proton, and we have the electrons revolving around the orbit. Yes, those lines, those circles that surround the nucleus, they are the orbit, and that is where the electrons are located. So the protons are positively charged. Protons are positively charged, while electrons are negatively charged. And the neutron is natural, just as the name implies, neutron. Neutrons are natural, they do not carry any charge. Okay, so protons are positively charged, electrons are negatively charged, and neutrons does not carry charge. And the proton and the neutron are located in the nucleus of an atom. So let's look at the first simulation to practicalize what we have been talking about. So looking at this simulation, these are the protons here. Yeah, these are the protons. Um, these are the neutrons. The neutrons. Then we have the electron. The ones in the blue bowls are the electron. So we also have our periodic table of elements. Then we are going to do some simulations according to the element. And then we're going to look at the number of protons, the number of neutrons, and the number of electrons that each element need to stabilize or to be stable. Okay, so we know that the first element on the periodic table is hydrogen. So it automatically has atomic number of 1. Yes, the number of proton signifies the atomic number. So any element that has atomic number of 1 automatically has 1 proton. If an element, for example, sodium atomic number is 11, so automatically it has proton. The proton number of sodium is 11. So let's look at hydrogen. So hydrogen has 1 proton and it is stable. Okay. Now, there is a positive ion showing around the orbit, which shows that it needs 1 electron to be able to complete. Yes. Now, on this diagram, we have 2 orbits. Okay. Apart from the nucleus, we have 2 orbits where the electrons are. Now, the first orbit, which is the smaller one, it can only occupy 2 electrons, while the larger orbit can occupy 8 electrons. Okay. So this is for hydrogen. It is now neutral because it has one proton and one electron. So let's move to the second element, which is helium. You can see that helium is unstable. It is unstable because it needs a neutron to make it stable. The two positively charged protons are colliding with each other. So that is why they are not stable. So we need a neutron to stabilize it. So let's add one neutron to it, and you can see it is already stabilized. It is stable. Then we need to also add one electron to make it a neutral atom. So the helium has two protons, one neutron, and two electrons. Now, if you check the mass number of helium is 3, is approximately 3. Why? Because it has two protons, one neutron, and two electrons. So let's move to the next element. The next element, which is lithium, it is also unstable. So let's add a neutron. We need to add another neutron to make it stable. So it has three protons, three neutron, and three electrons. And the mass number is 6. The mass number of lithium is approximately 6. So you can see the third electron is already on the second orbit, okay? Because the first orbit can only occupy 2 electrons. So the next orbit is occupying the third electron. So let's move to the next element, which is beryllium. It is also unstable. We need to add neutron to it to make it stable. And then the positive ion showing here is telling us that it needs an electron to make it neutral. I believe you understand. So we can go on and on like that and try and get the atomic structure of each element on the periodic table. So by now, I believe you understand what an atom is. An atom is the smallest particle of the matter. Now, in an atom, we have the proton, the neutron, and the electron. The proton is positively charged, the neutron is neutral, and the electrons are negatively charged. The proton and the neutron are in the nucleus of an atom, while the electron revolves around the orbit. Yes, so I believe you understand today's lesson. If there is any question that you have or any misconception, you can send a message to me. You can send a message or you write a comment at the comment section. Thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to share this lesson to your loved ones. Thank you. We meet in the next class.